Hey everyone, my name is Stephanie from The Well-Doing Mama. I am the mom of 8 kids, ages 20 down to 4, and I have been a homeschooling mom for all of those years. And today I want to offer some encouragement. I really want my channel to be about encouraging moms in their walk through homeschooling. It can be hard, but it is so worth the hard times. So you'll notice I'm in a little different setup today. If you've watched any other videos, I'm actually hiding in my bedroom today. But I do love these decorations. Today I want to share with you how I balance my life, which is like funny because I don't, is really the answer. But I want to offer the encouragement. I think moms sometimes think that other moms have a perfect plan or a perfect way of making it work, something of that sort. And that is so far from the truth. I do like to plan. I do like to make good, solid plans for how I can do my day and how I can do my week and how I can get in the things I want to get in. But I always fail to get in everything I want. I always have more to do than I have time to do. And that's okay, as long as I take time to know what my priorities are for each day. And so I wrote down some little ideas of how I balance, and I just kind of wanted to share it and encourage you. If you are struggling in that, I just want to offer some encouragement of some practical ways, but also just some thought ways of balancing your life. So, how do I balance my life? First of all, I don't. I do not balance everything perfectly every day. What I do though is I try to chunk things together as far as time goes. For instance, today I said, now this is the summer, we're in the middle of the summer right now. I do not have a lot of other obligations as far as we don't have school that we need to get to. We don't have clubs or activities right now. So that does free up my time quite a bit. But I don't do it all every day. So today I told my kids I need to have a day to work through my to-do list. And so I did read to my little kids this morning. I then took all my kids to the library. We had a couple of prizes left for summer reading we wanted to pick up, get some new library books. I told my kids they needed to practice piano, they needed to read, and then they were on their own, but no video games. And they ended up playing a game together. We had lunch. They played a game. I had a couple errands to run. And that was a good time. And I have been able to really push through and get a lot of my to-do list done. There will be other days, probably this week, where we have at least one day where we'll spend most of the day at the park. We'll spend at least all morning at the park. By the time we get home, the kids will all be tired. They'll all rest, take showers, clean up. And then I'll have a little bit of time, but not a lot of time because I'll have dinner prep to start getting on before long. So I won't have time to work on my to-do list. So really one way I balance is that I rotate days of what I focus on. Even during the school year, I might have a day where we really have to focus and we work really hard on school from 8 a.m. to 3 or 4 p.m. We just push through and get a lot of school done. Because another day, we know we have appointments or an activity and we're not going to be able to get that done. So it's kind of a rotation in our world of what I balance each day. I use a planner to help me kind of plan out my weeks so that I make sure I am choosing my priorities. This week, I will probably have a couple of those days where I really have to work. Well, hopefully 2. Hopefully 2 days that I get to work a lot. So that's one thing, is I don't try to do everything every day. I have to-do list and I work through my to-do list, and we have days that we're at home a lot and we have days that we're not at home a lot, and we have days that I may spend a lot of time with the kids, and I have days that maybe I spend less time with the kids and more time on my to-do list. Some days will feel really well balanced and a lot of days won't. So that's okay. My goal is still my goal, which is to do a good job, overarching, not just looking at individual days. Second thing is we do limited activities. We have 8 children. My husband, his hours, he has normal hours, but they can get long, and I don't always know ahead of time when they're going to get long. We don't have family that lives close by to help with transportation, and limit activities. And that may mean that we rotate activities. Like, this kid's going to do an activity this session, and that's great. Another kid may do one in the winter. Like we have one kid playing flag football in the fall, and no other kids are going to be doing sports. We may have a kid do an art class. The art class is here in town, so that's really easy. If we do activities that are here in town, it's easier to do more activities. If we do activities that are in the town that's half an hour away, we do fewer of them. All of our kids, most of our kids, I should say, most of our kids do piano lessons, but they're done at our house, so that's easy. I don't have to go anywhere. We also have a child that's going away to college, and he does not drive, so I will be having to pick him up and bring him home when he wants to come home from college. It's not very far, but it's enough that's on my mind to keep that in our space. We want time for family dinners. We have to pick our priorities. When we're balancing things in life, we have to pick priorities. Family dinners are a high priority for us. We want some family time. The jokes, the stories, the things that come out during our family dinners are important to us. So that may mean fewer activities, and I'm okay with that. Some families may choose to do more activities, and that's okay too. There's not a right or a wrong. This is just what we do and what works for us now. We do have seasons where we have kids, it feels like, in a lot of activities and we're gone every night. And we handle that because it's short term. We would not handle that if that was our life year round. But short term, we do that. So there might be a season where 3 kids are playing sports and somebody's doing an art class or somebody's doing drama, and we're gone almost every night. During the school year, Wednesday nights we have church, and then all year long we have church on Sundays. So that is a high priority for our family. So I don't do it all every day. We limit our activities. I plan my days out. I talked about this a little bit when I talked about don't do it all every day. I brain dump. My brain gets so full of all of the things I need to do that I open up my planner, and I need to do a video on my personal planner. I did one on my school planner. I open up my planner at the beginning of the month, and I just start brain dumping different things. Things I need to do for co-op, things I need to do for the house, things I need to do for our school. I have a 4-H list, and I don't think I wrote anything on it. I wrote that on another sheet. But I brain dump. Whenever I start feeling overwhelmed, I just start brain dumping all the things that are in my head, putting them on paper so I can start marking them off. Because as soon as I start to mark them off, I can go, oh, okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So that really helps if I can start marking things off, reducing what I have to do, getting it down on paper. What do I actually need to accomplish? And that helps me. Then I can plan my days and be like, I need to put some to-do list space in my planner because I need to get to these tasks. Or sometimes I'll even plan very specific tasks at specific times. Okay, so I don't do it all every day. We limit activities. I plan and brain dump things. The next thing I do is meals. I meal plan. I meal plan for an entire month. I have some of those videos up. August will be coming out soon. And I meal plan the entire month at one time. It can change, and it often does change, but at least I put stuff down. I also try to make our meals fairly simple, especially during the school year. I like to cook, and I would like to make more elaborate meals sometimes with a really yummy homemade bread and maybe a salad, like a really nice chopped salad with all kinds of veggies chopped in it, and our main dish. And I would love to do that. But I also have a limited time. So that means sometimes our salad's going to be the bag salad from the store or just a quick chopped up salad with not a lot of add-ins. Sometimes we will have the more elaborate meals, but I often just keep things simple. We use a lot of frozen veggies because they're healthy and they're frugal and they're easy. And so I use a lot of those. I also, like I said, I keep things simple. I've done different things, I guess I should say. I'm trying to think how I want to word this. I've done different things in different seasons. There was a season where we did a 2-week meal plan, and I just repeated that 2-week meal plan until we got tired of it. So I probably did it like 6 to 8 times, so 3-4 months. And then when we were tired of that meal plan, those 2 weeks of meals, I made a new 2-week meal plan. What made that so easy is I was doing the same thing, so I remembered how to make them. I didn't really have to look at the recipes. I had the meal plan written. I had the grocery list written. It was so easy to do that. I have had seasons where I did freezer meals, so I would take a day and we would make a bunch of freezer meals and put those into the freezer. That is a lot harder now because it really takes 2 9x13s to feed us. We don't eat the entire 2 9x13s, but we eat more than one. So it isn't as feasible now for us to do that. Although I do still like having some freezer meals in the freezer, just have not gotten to that in a while. But that is a really good option, especially if you have lots of little kids. And if you can get a day where either your husband takes the kids out and you just spend a few hours working on meals, or you and your husband do it together and tag team. I used to try to wait till the baby went down for a nap. And then my kids and I would work really hard for those 2 hours. I would have a lot of the meat and stuff prepped while the baby was up. The baby would go down for that nap, and I would just push through really hard for 2 or 3 hours, and we would get a bunch of meals made. And in the freezer, and that really helped. So keeping meals simple, meal planning, making something new is always fun and great, but don't feel like you have to make a complicated fancy meal every night. And we do eat at home most of the time, just because that is way more frugal than eating out. So I don't do it all every day. We limit activities. I plan and brain dump. We have simple meals. The next thing I do is rest. Rest is so important. When I was pregnant or had babies, I would rest during nap time very, very often. I know it's tempting to be like, this is a great time to do school. And it is. But mamas, you need to rest too. I wanted to be able to stay awake past 8 o'clock and maybe have a conversation with my husband after the kids were in bed. In order to do that, I had to rest during the day some. Also, on Sundays, I often rest. I will often take naps or just kind of chill and hang out with the kids. We allow a lot more TV time on Sundays so that the kids are enjoying that and I can get a break and rest. Resting is good and it's okay. Also, one thing I did, I kind of still do it, but definitely did it when I had lots of little ones. I put an end to my day. After supper and supper cleanup, I was done for the day. Now, I would still put kids to bed. I'd bathe them. I would obviously feed the baby, those things. I didn't do more laundry. I didn't do more school planning. I didn't do school grading. I allowed myself a cutoff time. And yes, that means something didn't get done. But my body and my mind got to rest. I knew there was an end to the day. There's always more we can do as moms. So I wanted an end to my day. So the next thing is chores. We have had lots of different chore systems throughout the years. Create a chore system and try it. Right now, what we do is, I got it from Amy Roberts. I cannot remember the name of her channel. Raising Arrows. And she calls it the home blessing, where they spend one morning or afternoon or whatever cleaning the house. And that's basically what we do right now. Usually it's Fridays. The kids get everything cleaned up. I sweep and mop through the house. I clean the kitchen up. The kids all have chores. The older kids have bathrooms to clean. And everything is clean. Within usually even just a couple hours. It really doesn't take that long. That works now, especially because we don't have any toddlers. Our youngest is 4 now, so that works. When we've had babies and toddlers, I either didn't have the energy to clean for 2 hours in a row, or it wasn't even feasible because by the time I fed the baby and the timing didn't work. I would divide my task each day. So one day I would sweep them up the dining room. One day I would sweep them up the kitchen. One day I would clean a bathroom because I didn't have kids old enough to do that. One day I would sweep them up the living room, or depends on which living room we had. One day I would dust. I just assigned things to different days, and I did just little tasks each day. And that built up over time. During that time, my kids had chores also. Now my kids still have chores, but right now they just have, let me see if I can make this make sense. Right now, on Fridays when we clean, I print a chore list. I go through and do my portion, which is the sweeping and mopping and cleaning the kitchen. The kids all mark off from that chore list. So it has things like wipe all the doorknobs, pick up the dog poop in the backyard. What else is, there's probably 15, 20 things. And a lot of them are little. Dust the living room, sweep the basement stairs. Just all these little tiny tasks that I need to get done. And they go through and they just each take turns and mark through chores, taking out all the trash in the bathrooms. So I just wrote down a whole list of chores. And if there's something extra I want done, there's a cabinet that's dirty or they've piled up stuff somewhere, I'll just write that on the list and all of that will get done. And that is super great. What I did previously is they would all have chores before breakfast, after lunch, and sometimes an evening chore too, depending on different time frames. And so I would take those types of chores and they would just be assigned to different kids on different days. It was a little more complicated because then I'm constantly having to be like, okay, this kid has to do this chore. And I had it printed out so it was easy to keep track of who was supposed to be doing what when. And that worked for that season when we couldn't just do a whole bunch of chores at once. I now like doing all the chores at once, but I don't know this coming school year if I'm going to be able to do it on Fridays because we're changing some school stuff. So not sure if that's going to work on Fridays or not, but that has been our routine that's worked really well. It's hard if we're gone on Fridays because I have to do it Saturday morning or do it Thursday. Thursday is currently my grocery shopping day. It doesn't take me that long, but I also have school I'm doing in there. So, okay, so different chore systems. Find a chore system, use a chore system. If it doesn't work, change the chore system. Remember, kids aren't going to do chores unless you follow up. We found it best to have set times that everybody was doing chores. This is chore time. Everybody's doing chores. And when you're done with your chores, come see me and make sure that they're done right. So that we found that everybody needed to be doing chores kind of at the same time. Nice rhythm routine to our day. Works really well. The other thing, the last thing I have on here is getting up. If I get up early, now if you have young babies, this is harder. You may not be able to do this. Again, I rested in the afternoon, so I would get up. Getting myself up and getting myself ready, or at least mostly ready before the kids get up, really sets a good tone to our day and allows us to get started and productive. On those days, I sleep in and I kind of piddle around in the mornings, and it might be 9 o'clock before we start school. Our whole day just seems to go so much slower and be so much harder. So, getting up early, getting ready. I like to get completely ready for the day. I put my hair up in a clip, so you can't really tell now that it was curly this morning. But it's been so hot today. It's like muggy out, so it's like not the greatest weather. That's okay. We need some rain. But getting up ready, getting up early, getting ready for the day really sets my mind in a good way. Included in that is doing some time with God. Reading my Bible, doing a Bible study, reading a book, doing some type of quiet time, praying, spending some time with God. Really getting my mindset that I am here to serve the Lord. I am serving the Lord through serving my children, loving my husband. I am serving the Lord through that. And the only way I can do that is through his strength. None of that comes through my own strength. So I hope that gives you some ideas. Nobody is balancing everything perfectly. Nobody is doing this perfectly. Everybody's just doing the best job they can. And so I encourage you to pick an area that maybe you feel weak in and just work on a way to improve it. Maybe you're like, man, I never plan meals and I never know what we're going to eat. So come 4 o'clock, I'm just so stressed out. Okay, take some time and be like, I'm going to make a meal plan. Look at my meal plans. Just steal one of them. That's why they're there. So you could just take it, write it down and be like, okay, this is what we're going to have this week. And then just do it. And then you don't have to think so much about it. Also, trick on meal planning, you can defrost meat in the microwave. It works. It's great. If you're cooking the meat, it's even easier. I mean, of course you're cooking your meat. I mean, if you're like cooking ground beef, not trying to grill it up or something, that's a little trickier. Can be done a little trickier. But if you are just like cooking up ground beef, you can defrost it in the microwave and cook it up and have, your sloppy joes or taco meat or whatever if you forget to pull it out, because I do that all the time. Although I do like to cook all of it ahead of time. That makes it even easier. I'm getting distracted from all my lists. But I want to encourage you that nobody is doing it all perfectly. We're all just doing the best we can. So pick one area that you need to improve on and work on it. Pray. Ask the Lord to help you see a way to improve. Research. Okay, how can I meal plan better? How can I make a better schedule for my kids? How can I choose a better curriculum? Pray with your husband. Are we doing too many activities? Are we not doing enough activities? Are our kids going stir crazy because they never leave the house? What are we doing that's working? What are we doing that isn't working? Be evaluating and be willing to change and adapt and try some new things. Thanks for joining us today. Please leave a comment if you have something else you'd like me to talk about or you have any questions. Please hit the like button and subscribe to see more videos about what we do.